I want the intro to just be... What's going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 7 of Wrecked Bike Rebuild Season 2, the 2017 Kawasaki ZX-10R. If you guys are not familiar at this point with what Wrecked Bike Rebuild is, it is a Patreon-funded bike rebuild series where you guys help me build up this awesome motorcycle, or it's gonna be awesome at one point in time, and then when the series is over, I just give it away to a fan. So, if you want to look up more info on the series and how we fund it and giving it away and all that kind of stuff, if that sounds fun to you, Patreon link in the description will tell you all the information you need to know. Also, on the Patreon page, you get tons of freaking rewards depending on what level you support it. You could even be watching this build live. It's options. We got options and we got a ton of them over there on Patreon. I highly recommend you go check it out. For you guys wondering, Brian, aka Brain, is on the way here. He's going to be helping us out again in this episode and might be helping out in the next one, depending on how far we get in this episode. So don't worry, I'm not going to be trying to take on that by myself. Also got something in the post office that I think I'm supposed to check on this episode. We have a lot of fun stuff to do today. Wrecked Bike Rebuild episode 7, let it begin. What's up, everybody? Guess who's here? The guy that pretty much has to be here for this episode. How's it going, Brian?
We're doing good.
What do you think, how do you think the bike's doing right now? Because, you know, we got the engine out last episode. If you guys haven't seen that episode, me and Brian got that thing out. But now we got a little more intricate work to do today.
We do, but we're in a good position to get some work done.
I told people that we were going to try to have a rolling chassis by the end of this episode. Then you got here and we had a conversation. I don't know if we're going to be able to have a rolling chassis this episode. So what are like the top 3 things that we're going to do next as far as the build goes?
We are going to start off with removing the wiring harness and subframe as an assembly, which at that time we'll be able to get to all the bits and connections of the harness and make sure everything is in good shape and cleaned up. That will give us access to all the mounting points for the ABS system as a whole, so we can see how we can remove it from the frame without disconnecting any of the brake lines and getting brake fluid everywhere.
Good, because brake fluid is bad.
Brake fluid is
pink.
bad.
Or it makes that thing pink, but yeah.
You know, it may be a little hard to handle all of the ABS system as it's loose in your hands, but it will make it significantly faster and easier to install it onto the new frame and chassis.
And just like that, that's what we're going to work on. Also, I got I'm not going to show the address. I got a box in the P.O. box. I'm going to open that up real quick because I think somebody sent it for Wrecked Bike Rebuild. So, before we get to cleaning, gifts, things, stuff. I love this. Brian just told me he made a mistake that he needs to correct. All right.
So for those of you out here that have actually removed the radiator from a sport bike, such as what we're working on now, in the last video, I misspoke and had mentioned that the radiator comes off towards the rear of the machine when in actuality it comes off towards the front of the machine. Those 2 bolts out, you pull the bottom of the radiator forward towards the rear wheel.
Okay.
And then slide it off of the pin.
Gotcha.
And then down off of the bike. So
that was the thing you needed to correct?
That was the thing.
Okay.
If somebody was trying to reproduce what it was that I had just said, they would have had a whole lot of trouble. So, when removing the radiator, pull the radiator away from the engine, towards the front wheel, and then out the side where the locator pin is at.
All right. Well, I just want us all to appreciate that Brian's level of I misspoke was direction to pull the radiator. We're not even going to get into the things that I say because I don't even call things what they're supposed to be called. We're going to open a box now. Jesus. Brian, you kill me.
It was too funny because I was watching it with my wife and I corrected myself and she's like, "Are you serious? You just corrected yourself." I'm like, now I got to tell everybody on camera that I did that shit wrong.
You know what? You're a better man than I am, Brian. This is from Danny. Danny, I appreciate you sending something in a P.O. box. If you guys have anything you want to send to a P.O. box, I'll put the info on the screen right now. This is for Wrecked Bike Rebuild, from what I understand. Or I thought it was for Wrecked Bike Rebuild. Nope, it's a Nerf gun. Brian, I'm gonna hand you the Nerf gun. I don't know how we're gonna use that. Wait, it is! It is for Wrecked Bike Rebuild. Okay. The Nerf gun was just, we got blue Loctite, we got safety glasses. We don't have to use the motocross anymore. We've got more safety glasses. Chase, here are a few silly things. We noticed how much you love blue Loctite and safety glasses. We also included an item to help you test that they are functional. Patrick. P.S. It's the daughter, Bunny G. I love your videos and I hope you love your present. Okay, so, you know what that means we have to do, Brian?
Shoot you in the face with a Nerf gun? That sounds like a really good plan to me.
Okay. I appreciate the gifts, and we will now. It was. I mean, you can't. Somebody can't just send you something to test, and you don't test them. Okay, so before we get to Wrecked Bike Rebuild, safety first here. We also appreciate the fact that you sent me a super safe set and Brian a mini safe set. So that way, Brian already has glasses. Brian doesn't even need these.
You might need to wear both pairs.
I might. And you know what? We got blue Loctite, so now we can make things not go where they're not supposed to. This is gonna get fun.
We may have to open the garage door. I may have to shoot you from across the street.
No, we're shooting it in the garage. All right, so while Brian opens his gun, I'm gonna open my goggles. Thank you for the goggles, by the way. I was very sad that my safety glasses disappeared. Man, these look so serious. I'm not as sad to get shot in the face. Brian, how good's your aim? Because, like, this is something we haven't brought into question yet. Oh, dude, these are awesome. I mean, these are shatterproof, surely, right? Hold on. Any info on a polycarbonate lens?
Polycarbonate is what they make riding glasses out of. It doesn't shatter.
I'm good.
They're pretty much unbreakable.
Unbreakable. I mean, I'm gonna get head safety gear.
Just giggling to myself over here, thinking about shooting you in the face with a Nerf gun. Am I a little too excited about this?
Is this something you've dreamed of since I brought you that monster in that one season?
Do you want to see what this is going to do before it actually...
Yeah, hold on. So let me hold...
I was going to say, you can kind of hold that up so they can see what the impact looks like.
Well, how about this? We'll...
Oh, that works.
Yeah, because I'm already going to get shot once, so...
Safety.
There's a safety?
Not safety.
Oh, wait. These balls are like... Okay, they're squishy, so it wouldn't hurt
not
that
like
bad.
golf balls or anything.
Okay, I thought this was like a golf ball or something. I was like, that's gonna really suck to get hit in the face with. Technical difficulties, we're gonna figure out the Nerf gun and then we'll be back. A little bit of instruction reading and we're on par.
That should do it right there. How's that for a good shot?
Dude, that's so fast. Oh God. Okay. I'm gonna figure out how to get shot in the face without getting hit in the face. So, I don't like this. Okay. I'm gonna now assume the position of the chair.
You're sure putting a whole lot into getting shot in the face with a Nerf gun.
Brian, you have to take me. Okay, I'm now going to be testing out the safety goggles as Brian shoots me in the face with the Nerf gun. God, terrible idea. Such a terrible idea. Such a bad idea. Oh!
There it is,
That's
right
so
there.
scary. That's so scary to look down the barrel of a gun. Okay, you hit me in the eye, right?
I did, yeah.
Safety goggles work. We're good. Thank you for shooting me, Brian.
You're welcome. That
All
was
right.
plenty of fun.
Now that we got the requirements out of the way, let's take this motorcycle apart. We have a rolling chassis with an old frame. We got to put it in the new frame, but it's dirty. It's very important to clean it beforehand, from what I understand.
When you're rebuilding a bike pretty much from the chassis out, it only makes sense to start with everything as pristinely clean as you can.
Okay, so guys, it might seem trivial, but it is extremely important that we clean the hell out of this bike before we start putting it in new parts. So we're gonna clean the damn bike. So guys, I ordered this like cheap pair of swing arm spools so that way we can get the tire up off the ground and that way we can rotate the tire and get it all cleaned and stuff. It's one bolt and even I can do it, so not gonna really show it.
If you just grab the wheel and roll it backwards, it should push the jack out forwards.
Because physics and stuff?
Yep. I was talking the other direction, but it works either way.
That was one of those situations in my head, like there's gonna be a lot of loud noises and banging and sketchiness, but
nope,
none of that happened.
I'm sad
about it actually.
I mean, we can make lots of
No, Brian. Those things happen on their own. Plenty of opportunities for sketch to happen later.
Well, I'll tell you what, we got a sketchy setup right now with that ramp just leaning up against the back of it.
Brian, you are so future thinking. God,
I
love it.
Flip that stand down and cut your fingers off on it.
So can you realize, Brian, how I got season 1 done? Like, because I did it by myself. Like, there wasn't many people here.
I'm surprised you still have all of your digits.
Yeah. I really value...
don't have any stitches.
I really value being able to count the 10 on my fingers. It helps out a lot. Oh, there's also this. Whole kit of clean stuff.
There you go. S100 detail and wax will do it what I'm looking for.
Interesting, okay.
Really a cleaning wax.
Gotcha.
So what we're going to do is we're just going to lay a nice fat coating of it on the rear wheel. Right.
So, wax on the wheel, why?
I almost don't even want to spoil the surprise of how fast all that grime is going to come off that wheel.
See, I feel the same way about kerosene.
Well, kerosene, like I said before, you want to start with your weak chemicals and then move up if it doesn't work.
See. Got it.
Kerosene is almost like starting with a blowtorch.
That's how we did here.
Well, now that yours has been on there a little bit longer too, it'll come off with a little less effort too. Although that is the chain side, so it may be a little bit more difficult to get off. Give that a shot.
Brian, I'm not into comparisons, but your side looks a little better than mine. Good Lord. I hope they can make that out, like how grimy. So it's obvious that stuff's on there. All right, I want to see the before and after of kerosene. Dang, I mean, like...
Wow, it still didn't come off that easy.
Yeah. Dang, dude, this stuff was...
on there thick.
Yeah.
Stuff's clean.
So, to get these tires cleaned, at least on my side, it took first this wax, then we used... What's the other stuff? Do we use kerosene after that?
Yes. Oh, we gave this a shot.
Yeah, we tried this, no go. We went kerosene, that helped a little bit more, and then this stuff. That's what you need for really nasty tires. Tires?
Wheels.
Damn it! Really nasty wheels, get WD-40 Specialist. I'm actually surprised. I didn't know you could clean with that. I didn't know what it was for, but... So now we gotta get this whole...
Well, the rest of the wheel will probably be easier to clean when it's off. But at least now you can get everything off without making yourself disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely. So we should wait for like the whole center and the...
Right, the wheel is already loose
Yeah.
from the swing arm. So once we get the swing arm assembly and all the suspension and everything out, we could just remove the wheel from it.
Gotcha.
And then clean that and clean this, and then they can go back together again.
So should we clean the swing arm now?
No, we could probably wait on it. We can take the harness and the subframe off of it, but it's just not going to be ready to go back on until it's clean.
Gotcha. So before it goes to the next stage, it has to be clean,
Correct.
regardless if it's before or after.
Yes.
All right, we get to shoot air into a freaking harness thing.
Okay. The rest of it, it's just going to be wiped down by hand, just like all the loose, big stuff that comes off. So right now the plan is to remove the wiring harness from the frame.
Okay.
Up to the swing arm, or up to the subframe.
And the wiring harness being all of the veins of wires that are in the motorcycle.
Yes, the main backbone of wiring for the machine.
Gotcha.
Now there will be some small sub-harnesses.
Okay.
Some might come with the main harness and some might stay with their components.
I told Brian that I want to do a lot of hands-on stuff, so Brian's going to walk me through removing the wiring harness, so that is what we're about to do, right?
Yes, sir. Here's your harness.
All right, the big
Here's
thick
your
wire.
harness. Here's your harness. Runs all the way up here, goes this way, that way, every way. It attaches to all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
So what you want to do is you want to run across the main part of harness and only disconnect the stuff that you have to.
So like the really thick piece, just follow it.
Follow it to where you can remove the rest of it with it. Now, do you have to unplug all that stuff, or will it come out with the harness? Can you take all that stuff out with the harness?
Well, that's a good assumption there, Brian, because yeah, you probably can.
Okay, so don't unplug any of that stuff.
So the cables that go to this, how should we take this apart and
Follow the harness, there will be a plug. Follow it to where it goes and unplug it from the harness. That would be a sub-harness or a switch assembly.
Gotcha.
That plugs in out into the harness remotely. The fun of working with wiring harnesses.
Yep. Well, this is a big moment because like I've said on my channel for many years that I don't do wiring. So, you know, as a motorcyclist, this is pretty.
As of right now, you are doing wiring.
Yeah, no. Still not happy about it, but you know, I'm learning.
So remember how this was shaped, right?
Yeah.
Because we're going to do that.
Gotcha.
And go ahead and pull it.
Okay. Just bend it back.
And you have wires coming off of here, and you have wires coming off of there, and wires coming off of here. There's really going to be very limited places where they can go and plug into.
True.
That's why they put different connectors on different things. So you can't plug the wrong part into the harness. If you guys are looking, you can really take a look in here and see that the harness is disconnected from the rest of your sub connections at the front end.
Yeah, we
So
just
the
got this
last
one
one
big
we
guy.
have is the one that goes to the meter. Yes.
So now we're gonna be taking the front of this off to get
4 bolts.
Cool. Don't say things like that, Brian, because that was a 30-minute ordeal of like I can't figure this out. I'm moving on.
Did your hand just fart?
Yes, Brian, my hand just farted. I felt professional. It's like I'm not gonna laugh at the hand fart.
I am totally not going to let shit like that go.
Okay, so I think the headlight assembly thing should fall out now.
Okay.
Man, that pisses me off because that means I was 2 bolts away from getting the headlights off that one day if I would have like investigated it more. All right, guys, so we just got the head off, which I've struggled with for an entire episode, but we're not going to worry about that. But as I worried, this is where the mirrors kind of screw into. Yeah, so this is what it should look like, and this is the side of the bike that got wrecked. So
That's also what your front fairing mounts to, so it's not just a headlight mount. I mean,
oh,
it's not
yeah,
just
you're
a mirror
right.
mount.
Yeah, because you can see that's the bolt that
That's actually where you're...
All right, so more OEM parts will be ordered then.
On a lighter note, good news, the headlight assembly is not damaged.
What's our next step, Brian, now that we've got the front of the
Last
assembly?
plug for the harness,
Oh, right.
which is why we just took that off.
That was the entire point. Now, is that a plug? Holy
That's a rubber cover to keep any dust out. It's a dust cover.
Oh, I wonder why there's a dust cover, because...
You know, it's maybe a little bit dusty. If you could possibly zoom in on that. Look at how fine the connections are. That's the entire gauge cluster, which is on this bike is part of everything. It's almost considered part of the ECU.
That's a lot of
There's a lot of information that runs through this, through those little teeny tiny connections. So corrosion is a killer. For stuff this small, it doesn't take a whole lot. And to combat your corrosion, as Chase liked to hand it to me here, we have some dielectric grease, which allows electricity to flow through it. So you can actually put a little dab of dielectric grease on this side, and before you plug it back into the harness, and corrosion is a lot less likely to occur. So now we need to work the harness out. So it's kind of laying up here.
Okay,
So
so
we
kind of
kinda
just
wanna-
lay the squid upside down.
Just, move that out of the way, and
So that piece right here is going to have to come off.
yes.
So-
Now you have two choices.
Okay.
Now you can either take the bracket off and leave it attached to here, or you can remove the pin from the bracket. That's your call.
I say leave the bracket on, and that way we have a hard point that we know we're going to screw into the next frame.
That sounds a good plan to me too.
All right, I'm down.
That is an 8mm nut.
Grab my 10 with confidence. Ooh, that goes behind the ABS or the brakes.
Yes, it does.
Interesting.
Now, isn't that a shitty thing right there? Well, they made that very difficult for us.
All right, guys, so we're working on getting the harness out, which is all these wires, but you can see that wire goes behind, this is the ABS pump.
This is one of the lines going to the ABS pump.
So we can't feed this through here because there's not enough space. That's going to be interesting. That's what we're trying to figure out.
So here's
now.
what we can do.
Oh, okay.
All right, so as long as we can, yes. So we have to unbolt the lines here and the ABS pump itself so it will move. And then we can take the harness and tuck it behind the ABS pump and out.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It probably will when we're doing it, so... So guys, we were starting to think that we would have to redo or take the wiring out of the ECU and route it all the way through because it's going to be really hard for you guys to see, so I apologize. But it looked like the harness looped together up front, but all it ended up being was little rubber pieces that were just holding them together like that. By taking off the two rubber things, we now have separated sides, so we should be able to route it through.
Well, now that we have to run this
Hopefully that
harness
works.
behind this stuff, I'm going to unplug the rest of this big stuff here
Okay.
because we're going to have to feed this stuff.
Yeah, we didn't undo that because we intentionally didn't undo those because we wanted to leave them if we could. But because of how the ABS line is run on this bike, we have to do some finagling. Brian Cam.
So now I think we only have to pull this bolt
Yeah,
so we can flex this a little bit and run the harness out from behind it.
Gotcha.
I think that's it. We don't need to cut any more zip ties.
Okay.
Now we can unbolt the subframe and take the subframe off with the wiring harness.
Sounds terrifying. Okay.
4 bolts. Whole thing comes off, one big piece.
No shit, this whole thing.
4 bolts.
So it's literally...
Those 4 bolts right there. And biggity bang, Bob's your uncle. The harness is out.
I don't have an uncle, and I don't think his name is Bob, but I will believe you about these 4-bolt situations. Wrong size.
8 now.
8? How do you know? You just like... We're testing it. We're testing Brian here, ladies and gents. Grazie. You're supposed to say Braco. You are wrong. Let the record show Brian is wrong. It is not an 8.
What size is it then, Chase? Before you bring the whole rail over here.
Freaking 6. How is a 6 gonna hold a whole damn subframe on? I ask you, Kawasaki.
I actually ask those questions frequently. And it's, hold on, stop right there. I saw the struggle on your face.
It's because I didn't have my weight properly.
That is a shallow 6mm button head bolt
Okay.
you're going to need to heat it up.
I'm okay with that. Okay. Gas, check. Torch, check. So is there like a strategy here, or
stick it right on? You're going to have to heat the bolt. There's Loctite on it that you have to heat up so it lets go. Before you strip the head of that bolt out, and then we'll have to drill it, and that's no fun.
Gotcha. So we're heating up the Loctite via the bolt.
Correct.
Should I even not move it around? Should I just like...
You could just ping it right on the bolt. That's all you need to heat. I would leave it on there for maybe 2 minutes. And then when you're done, just hand me the torch while it's still lit, and you can try and crack it free, and then we can move on to the next one.
So is this heat gonna affect the integrity of the bolt?
No. Not hot enough, not even the least bit amount.
Interesting.
Give it a shot, see what happens. I'll take the torch from you. Make sure it's in there good. There you go. And there it goes.
Oh man, I wanted like a pop.
You're not going to get it with Loctite.
Man, Loctite sucks.
No.
So now, same situation for the other bolt?
You got it.
God almighty.
And then you're going to have to do the two on this side.
Yeah.
Once you've already got it broken free, you can pull stuff out with it. Like that.
My ear. Oh god. Okay. So is that how that's supposed to work? I'm supposed to just push it in and let it just beat it?
Yes. That's why it's called an impact driver.
Okay. So I always thought that was the bad thing. That was the bad thing that I was doing. Okay.
So we got the harness, right?
Yeah.
To make sure all the harness is not hooked on anything anymore.
Yes. So I'm gonna wear this like a proud
Just
winner
like that.
of the Olympics. Holy crap. Okay. Oh, is it just a plug? Nice. Yep. Holy cow. Da, 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 da.
That's how you do it.
That's pretty clutch. So guys, this is literally the subframe. ECU's in there connected to the wiring harness, and that is what a disconnected wiring harness looks like. Well, awesome. We got it past the ABS bullshit and all that kind of stuff. Do we need to clean that now to get it in the new frame, or is there another step that we should be hitting first?
You know, at this point, it's kind of open as to how, at this point, remove the ABS system.
All right.
And then reinstalling the ABS system onto the new frame would be fairly quick.
Would it be easier to do that before the wiring harness is in?
I think the ABS system needs to go on before the harness does.
Yeah.
I think that will make things easier instead of harder, because at this point you can get to all of the mounting hardware that was very difficult to get to while the harness was in.
Good point.
So, you know, it goes last part out, first part in. Honestly, at this point, before any of this stuff goes on the new frame now, is really when everything needs to be. We're at the point now where stuff can't wait to be cleaned.
Gotcha. Okay, well now we have a lot more space though to
so we
can get into all little crevice areas. Cool.
Sounds good.
All right, swing arm is now clean. Brian, where are we going from here?
The options are we can remove the ABS system
Right.
and place it onto the new frame,
Gotcha.
or we can remove the ABS system, place it onto the floor, and at that point we can unbolt the frame.
So it sounds like what we'll do is we'll take the ABS system out of this right now, put it on the floor momentarily, and basically switch the frames out.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so guys, just to show you what we're going for, Brian's looking through the bike to see where these are routed to. So that's what he was talking about up here. We're undo these bolts, and then we get here to the back. I apologize if this camera's shaky. These lines run down to here. I'm touching the mic. If you guys can see, there's a bolt right here, and then the only way to get to that is to remove the swing arm. So because of that, we have to remove the swing arm to get the ABS lines off.
There you go.
But you said that's not bad because why?
Well, we'll just we'll put a jack underneath the frame right here. We'll unbolt the swing arm, unbolt the shock from the frame, and then unbolt the linkage from the bottom of the frame here. And we could pull this out as an assembly, and the frame will sit on the jack. And it's really nothing detrimental about having to do it this way.
So it's not a big deal.
Nope.
Okay, just a couple extra bolts, and we'll do this before we start the ABS line, or
it doesn't matter if we want to unbolt everything or at least crack everything loose first. It doesn't really matter how you want to do it.
Oh, because this will be more stable here.
And none of the bolts are heavy duty, where it's going to take a whole lot of torque to get them off.
Gotcha. Okay.
So.
All right. Well, we'll loosen up and we'll get it going. I'm gonna put this cardboard back out there, and the guy that picks it up is gonna think I like killed an orc or something, and like we butchered him on the lift or something. Wait, yeah, let's judge, not judge, but compare. Chase's side of the swing arm, Brian's side of the swing arm. You know what, Brian? I think they're even.
That's good.
Because we're in the Snowflake America, and that's the best thing to tell people.
Snowflake America. Okay, you ready, Chase?
Probably not, but let's go anyway.
You're going to be ready real soon. So we're going to start cracking some heavy-duty bolts loose.
Cracking some heads, yeah.
So the first thing we're going to crack loose is that lock nut on your side.
Dude, this thing, I like the way this looks.
All right, listen, your first most important thing when using a socket like that is to make sure that it is in there flush and tight, that it's not wobbly or on an angle or...
Oh, because it does, I mean, it can
slip off.
It can be wiggly.
And it could wreck shit. So
okay,
you need to make sure that it's on there, constantly paying attention that you're putting pressure on it so it does not slip out of its home.
This sounds really dangerous. And I'm pushing...
Now, it's not super duper tight.
Yeah.
So when it breaks loose, it's going to want to fall off as soon as it breaks loose.
This is terrifying.
So. There it goes.
Okay. Was that good or bad?
Did it break loose?
Oh, it did. How the hell did you snug it up that much?
And then what's inside of that? Is it an Allen or is it...
It's a really fat ass Allen.
Okay. So we're probably going to have to hold...
What is that made of? Because that... Like,
it's aluminum.
That's aluminum?
Uh-huh.
Because that feels like plastic weight.
It's aluminum.
That's insane. Okay, so now we're breaking this guy?
Well, this is the side that breaks free. It has a nut on this side. So you have to hold that one steady while this one gets broken free.
All right. All right, Brian, I'm ready. I think.
Doesn't everything open up? There it goes.
Yeah, mine didn't move at all. So I gotta admit, I thought I was gonna have to hold off like an army of tension.
This one's probably gonna be on here pretty good.
I look forward to you torquing it off.
Oh, not at all.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Quite loose. I don't know if that's the way it's supposed to be or not. It may not have a whole lot of torque. Forgot some brake lines.
So you're just taking off this one little wire here?
Yep. There's 2 wires there.
Yeah, and they're connected by this one little bolt onto the swing arm as well.
Yep. I have to take one off of here off the caliper.
Oh, I see.
And one here off of the swing arm. You got the swing arm?
Yeah. Holy cow. It's like an Autobot where it's just in pieces.
It's yours, you got it.
Yeah.
This is gonna flop around, so don't make sure it doesn't hit you in the teeth or anything.
Alright, sorry, I just had to do that. Okay. Alright guys, so as you can see, we have the swing arm off. Now we're working on taking off these ABS lines so that we can get the frame out of here. They're connected all up through there. Swing arm came off pretty easy though. So now you've never done this, right? These complicated ABS lines before? Ooh, new territory even for Brian.
You need to find a socket to fit that.
A socket to fit that.
Probably 32 millimeters.
32? Holy shit. Got a 30.
This isn't 32.
27.
32.
I thought it was 27.
Ooh, it's a 36.
Okay, that. There's no way.
You don't have 36?
Hell no, I don't have 36.
Why don't you have a 36?
Trouble in paradise.
Nope. Well, it looks like we're not getting the frame off.
No! So, rush shipping a 36.
You can go to Sears and buy one off the rack.
We're not doing that today. Halted by a bolt. Who would have thought? Maybe I can just hand do it.
Yeah, good luck with that. That should be probably somewhere around 80 foot-pounds.
I got 80 foot-pounds right here, Brian.
Yeah, but do you have it right here?
Yeah, I'm definitely not. 100% I do not have that.
So I think there's enough flex room in the ABS system to hang the front end and pull the frame off and leave the front end intact, brakes and everything.
Oh, is that gonna allow us to do the?
Give me a hand real quick. Pick the frame up.
Okay. That's kind of.
So we're gonna do it like that.
Yeah.
So we'll lock off the brake.
Yeah.
We'll unbolt this and the steering head bearings. Unbolt the ABS system. Pull the ABS system up just enough to slide that off and out.
Interesting. So, but we're still not going to be able to do that until we have this.
Correct.
This nut. Gotcha. So next episode on Wreck Bike Rebuild.
Coming down real slow.
Okay. So what are you working on right now?
Trying to find the right tool to get this bolt into the bar end to remove it.
That's going to be an interesting situation because that bar end is ground down.
I think we might actually have to drill it. Never mind, it was off already.
Oh. Okay.
It just needed a good whacking. Just pick this frame up here and hold it for a second.
That's fucking cool. Do you guys want to see what Brian did? Because I'm going to argue that this is the thing Brian was most excited for as soon as he had the idea. So do you guys see the frame? Is it literally floating? Motorcycle swing set. Hold on. I don't think that angle is really getting a good movement feel. Brian, are you happy you got to do your floating frame thing?
Except for the fact that I'm not able to take the frame off and drop the other one on, yes.
So if you guys are watching, basically what Brian's done is we have the front brake still on and we have the wheel clamped into the stand, and he has the front brake zip tied so this isn't going anywhere because it's basically braking, and then the frame can just like pivot around. Pretty freaking cool. Okay, so now that we got our real cool stuff out of the way, Brian, what's next on the old agenda?
We are one tool away from making a rolling chassis in the assembly process instead of the disassembly process.
Indeed.
So right about now, I think all we have left is kind of pack it up for now.
But what we need is the 36 millimeter socket for the triple tree?
Steering stem nut.
Steering stem nut. So we need a 36 for that. And because we don't have that, we're kind of
hanging in the wind.
Oh, hanging in the wind. What? Because the frame.
So once we could actually loosen that nut, we can remove the top triple clamp.
Okay.
And then dismount the ABS system from the frame, remove the upper steering head bearing, pull the frame off, drop the new frame on, and begin the process of reassembly.
Gotcha. So next week is a definite rolling chassis situation.
Rolling chassis, ABS system on, wiring harness on, subframe on. I think we'll have this thing ready to put the motor back in by the end of next episode.
And guys, with that news, we're going to call episode 7 over because I've got to go get a nut so we can continue. But that's pretty exciting. 2 more episodes. We'll have a engine in there and everything, right?
Well, if
everything goes right.
If everything goes the way it's planned, we will have a rolling chassis prepped for engine install by the end of episode 8.
8, yep, because we're on this is 7.
And by the end of episode 9, this thing will be running.
Oh, this is all if everything goes right. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be the end of this episode. Make sure to check back next Tuesday. Hopefully we will have another episode of this out and we'll have a rolling chassis. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, and if you want to check out more about Wrecked Bike Rebuild and where this thing goes after it's done, check out the Patreon page. Links, as always, in the description. My people over there on the live stream, thank you very much. If you guys want to check out the live streams, that's one of the perks on the Patreon page. So go check it out. It's a good time. Brian, thank you so much for being part of the episode.
You're very welcome.
Oh, that was an aggressive high five. Brian's feeling pretty good about where we're at. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this point in the video. I'm Chaseontwowheels, and I will see you on the next one. And goodbye. All right, outro crew, we're chilling. What do you guys think? Good? Yay? I feel good about it. We have a freaking ghost motorcycle frame. If anything, the outro crew just got one more ghost push. Okay, we'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure to hit the damn like button. Okay, bye.